Good evening. This is the Cortez City Council regular meeting. Today is February 24th, 2026, and the time is 7:35 p.m. I'd like to call this meeting to order and ask you all to join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Can we have the roll call?
Kiefhofer.
Here.
DeHaven.
Here.
Spruill.
Here.
Dobry.
Here.
Randall.
Here.
Lewis.
Here.
Medina.
Here. All right. Notice that we have everyone present and we have a quorum tonight. Then do we have approval of the agenda?
Madam Mayor, I move that council approve the agenda as presented for February 24th, 2026. Second.
Motion made by Lewis and seconded by Dobry.
Randall.
Yes.
DeHaven.
Yes.
Spruill.
Yes.
Kiefhofer.
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
Dobry.
Yes.
Medina.
Yes. All right, we're moving on to number 2 on our agenda, the consent agenda. The listing under consent agenda is a group of items to be acted on with a single motion and vote. This agenda is designed to expedite the handling of limited routine matters by City Council. Either the public or a council member may request that an item may be removed from the consent agenda at the time prior to council's vote. I'll ask if a citizen or council member wishes to have any specific item removed from the consent agenda for discussion after reading the list. A, approval of the minutes for the City Council meeting on February 10th, 2026. B, approval of the expenditure list for February 24th, 2026. C, approval of a hotel and restaurant liquor license for Stonefish Sushi Management, LLC, DBA Stonefish Sushi, located at 16 West Main Street, Cortez. D, approval of a special event permit to allow the Cortez Area Chamber of Commerce to host an event on March 12th, 2026 from 5 to 9 p.m. on the premises of 20 West Main Street, Cortez. And E, approval of a hotel and restaurant liquor license for the Farm Bistro Cortez LLC, DBA The Farm Bistro, located at 34 West Main Street, Cortez. Would anyone like anything removed?
Madam Mayor, I move that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion made by Dobry and seconded by DeHaven.
Spruill.
Yes.
Randall.
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
DeHaven.
Yes.
Kiefhofer.
Yes.
Dobry.
Yes.
Medina.
Yes. Okay, we're going to move on to number 3 on our agenda, public participation. Individuals, there's no time limit to the number of speakers, although public comment will be held to an overall time limit of 30 minutes. Speakers have a time limit of 3 minutes per person, may only speak once, and may not cede time to another commenter. All right, I'm going to start with our first comment card and invite James McGinley up.
James McGinley, 111 South Elm Street, Master Jesus Base Camp. I have lots of detail prepared to share with you, but it's really very simple. I talked to a lot of people in the city at all strata. I don't know anyone that understands how we're going to be paying our bills a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now. We're not concerned with blame, but each of us has a financial plan for how we're going to stay solvent. We don't know that there isn't one for the city of Cortez, but I haven't found anyone that thinks that there is one. Our industries are going down, our sources of revenue are going down, our economy is going down, none of which can you control. But we can confront reality head on, or we can let it confront us without preparing. If there is a plan that should put us at ease, a plan that is being worked, like a 3-year financial plan for this city that's going to be paying for this building and the library and our roads and all that, will you please tell us? And if there isn't, then at least we'll know that it's up to us to roll up our sleeves and come up with something. James McGinley, thank you.
Thank you. All right, do we have any other comment cards or anyone that would like to do public comment that didn't happen to fill out a card? Thank you. I'll pass this around. Thank you. All right, Charles?
Charles Borchini, Cortez, Colorado. Just have two quick questions for you. Number one, why can't we use the over-collected tax revenues to fix the softball complex? I think this tax holiday is a ridiculous idea. Number two, why can't the new council decide this issue, not the people that were asleep at the wheel that caused this problem? That's it.
Okay, and then for those in the audience, we do have the rec center tax issue on our agenda coming up. Any other public comment? Thank you. Okay, we'll close that portion and move on to 4 on our agenda. Presentations, we have none tonight, so 5A is, or 5 is public hearings, and 5A is ordinance number 1359, series 2026. It's a second reading of an ordinance to effect Tabor refund of a portion of the Family Recreation Center sales tax revenue. The ordinance would amend Section 9-26 of Charter, Chapter 9, Article 2, Division 3 of the Cortez City Code to effect a refund portion of the Family Recreation sales tax. And we will have a public hearing, a public comment portion to this topic. Presented by Drew Sanders, our city manager.
Yeah, good evening, Mayor and Council. I have a presentation for you tonight to discuss this very issue and should perhaps even answer a couple of questions that were just posed to us. So want to just quickly do a recap. The overcollection issue was discovered back in September of 2025, but it stems back to 2018 when the ballot measure was posed to the voters, and it did pass to lower that tax amount, but the requisite ordinance to make that actually happen never occurred, and we never discovered that was not in place until this past September, at which time we've taken steps to fix that. This was a 3-step process to correct, and this tonight is the 3rd step of that. So the first step, just as a quick recap, back in October, November 25, we had to correct the immediate problem. So we did pass Ordinance 1350 that corrected the sales tax over collection that was starting January 1 of this year. Step 2, we had to determine exactly how much was over collected, weigh the options, and establish a refund plan. So just to answer a question that just came up, under Tabor, even if we wanted to keep this and repurpose it somehow, we cannot lawfully keep it. Number one, the original ballot measure back in early 2000s only allows this to be used to pay off and maintain the recreation center itself and for the operations of that. Next, we had to set a refund plan in motion and seek passage of this ordinance to authorize a sales tax holiday in 2026. So we selected this time and this option mainly for fairness sake and for practicality versus attempting to identify individual taxpayers. So remember, this is a sales tax, and we have no idea literally the thousands of people that has paid into that, and there's just no practical way for us to go identify those folks and figure out how much they paid. So, just a recap also of how much was over collected. Our finance director has been able to get that right down to the dollar and even the penny. In this case, the total amount at year end of fiscal year 2025, $2,850,958 exactly, and that's what we're seeking to refund. So the Tabor refund plan. We've planned a sales tax holiday, October 18th through December 31. This time frame was designed to have a maximum benefit for locals. Our tourists, for the most part, should be gone during that time, and so our locals will be the ones mostly shopping here and will benefit the most. Now, we estimate that it would take about 70 days, given our current economy and current spending based upon prior years during this time, but we want to make sure that we meet or exceed that slightly so that we meet that Tabor refund obligation. So we're shooting for 75 days. And this is, of course, set to occur during the holiday spending season, which we hope will not only benefit our locals, but our businesses as well. Now, keep in mind that, sorry about that. Keep in mind this only applies to the city sales tax, which is currently set at 3.85%. That's the corrected amount, removing the 0.20%. This does not apply to any other sales tax that is in place. So collectively, 3.84% sales tax will remain in place, but 3.85% will be the sales tax holiday amount. So just keep in mind, our current aggregate sales tax here in Cortez is 7.69%, and then that the full amount will resume on January 1, 2027. So just quickly, the consumer impact of this. So for every $10 spent, that'll equate to 38 cents saved, and for every $100, $3.85, and for every $1,000, $38.50. Business impacts. Well, we fully recognize that this is a burden upon our businesses, and we thank them for their patience and willingness to work with us. We feel bad about that, and we're doing all we can to work with them. We are hopeful that the burden may be compensated somewhat during the holiday season, hopefully with some increased sales. Additionally, business support. The city will plan to work with all points of sale businesses prior to the October 18th start date. So finance is already working well in advance and has a plan in place on how to do that. Public awareness. We're already working with our partner organizations, CREA and the Chamber, to make sure we get the word out. And I even have a verbal commitment from the Durango Chamber to help get the word out as well. And then the resumption reminder, during that, we will remind before the time comes, and then also help with reminders to resume the full collection on January 1, 2027. And then we want to make sure we communicate clearly with them well in advance, and we have plenty of time to do all that. So with that being said, are there any questions from council that I can help answer? Okay, thank you, council.
All right, we'll open this up for public comment, the public hearing portion of this. So anyone who wants to comment on this topic, please step up to the podium.
Hello, Carly Wolf. I live here in Cortez. I was just curious, I work in an industry where we're taxed like at a 7-something%. With that, for the businesses, would that be a certain percentage that would be then taken off of dispensaries specifically? Or, I know we're never going to pay that low of tax rates, but would that be a percentage taken off of our tax rate as well?
Okay, if I understand your question correctly, you're asking, will that be taken off of your tax rate as a business as well?
Yeah.
Are you talking use tax?
Sales tax, we were saying that would be.
If you're paying sales tax somewhere else?
No, here. As you were saying that it was going to bring back down, a certain percentage was going to come off, and then we would start paying again come end of December. Would that apply for dispensaries as well?
I'm having a really hard time hearing it. Can we get you to maybe move to the other mic and speak a little more clearly into it?
Yeah,
And
she's asking about,
I apologize. I'm not trying to give you a hard time.
That's okay, sorry.
Go ahead, like marijuana dispensaries, are they the same sales tax?
Okay, yes, if they are, if you're a point of sales tax, then yes, that will affect that as well.
Okay, just double checking.
Thanks. All right, I thought I saw another. Great.
Hello. I just had a few questions. As far as the sales tax holiday, from my understanding, city sales tax is not collected on grocery items. It's only collected on certain things. So my question would be, what exactly would be non-taxable? If it's not groceries, I feel like that would impact more of the public. Also, I know somebody already asked, but I do work, I'm the treasurer for the baseball league and for the softball league here in town. We've had members asking about this overcollection of sales tax and if it would be able to be used for rec projects. We've been told by the city that there's not enough funding to not only repair, but to continue to maintain facilities that we currently have in the area. We found a term online that's called debrucing. That it says debrucing is a term for when voters approve a ballot measure allowing local governments to retain and spend revenue that exceeds the limits set by Tabor. So I guess our question is that an option? Can this be given back to the voters to decide how this overcollection of money, how it is used, and if it can benefit the community in a different way? While I am all for sales tax reductions, I'm not as convinced that it's going to affect our community as much as it's maybe being presented. I would really like to see more put into our parks, more into our youth. I think it's really important that we're taking care of what we currently have here. If the funds have already been overcollected, I understand that maybe the city doesn't want to go this route because then it looks like they're profiting from a mistake. So from that aspect, can a community member put a ballot initiative together and ask, not as a city, but as a other organization, can we ask the voters if we can use this money in a different way and have the community vote on that? Thank you.
Yeah, Mayor and Council, so I want to make sure I get all of this. I'll try to slice it down by question. So if I understand, the first one is, can we use this money for other projects? Great question. The council has considered that, and we have considered that carefully. No, we cannot. Under Tabor, we have basically unlawfully collected this, and whether the council or the community thinks that we should be able to keep it and use it for other things, which would be great, we would love to, we just cannot under Tabor. We just can't. It's not even an option. Secondly, talking about a ballot initiative, about can there be basically a petition for that to raise taxes? It just doesn't work that way under Tabor. It just can't. But there are things that we can talk about, and after all this is done, I would suggest that, especially with the new council, and we will be bringing this up as well as talking about the future funding of our park system and our recreation system. You're absolutely right, and there we need that community input on those sort of things. And yes, we do want to put more towards it, as much as we have to do it. But in this case, this is not something that we're just trying to, pass back and try to say, well, it was a mistake and we're just trying to give it back. It just doesn't work that way. We have to give it back. And so, it just doesn't work that way. Secondly, when we're talking about funding our parks and so on, this is not the process for this. It's actually the budget process, which takes place during the fall, is when those sort of comments need to come out, and that support needs to take place.
And Madam Mayor, maybe I could add to that a little bit. Even if the city went to the voters to try to get a Tabor exemption or a debrucing, as she mentioned, it would only apply to revenues that have yet to be collected. It's not retroactive. And one of the issues, and we retained a Tabor expert outside counsel for this, and one of the problems with an overcollection is if you don't refund it and fairly quickly, the public has the right to sue the city under Tabor. It's a specific litigation under Tabor, and if they win, then we have to pay their attorney's fees. And so, you know, the thought was we shouldn't wait to decide this. You know, we have to show the court that if somebody does sue us, that we're acting in good faith and in an expedient manner. So, unfortunately, yeah, there's a possibility of doing a Tabor exemption ballot question, but it would not apply to previously collected revenues.
Any other comments? Okay, I'll close the public hearing portion of this. And I think, yeah, that the sticking point is that this tax is specifically for the rec center, and we are all well aware of how important our whole park system is and how underfunded that is in general. So I think, you know, we've got to follow the law here to do what we can to refund the money, but we need to keep these conversations of like, how do we fund our park system in its entirety moving forward? And that's really going to be for the next council to discuss, but we really need the public to stay engaged. As we know that the park system impacts all of our lives, and especially the youth. So, any other comments?
Yeah, the thing I just wanted to add is that this is a mistake that was made in 2018, and we are the ones in these seats now trying to fix it as quickly as possible and to provide the maximum benefit to our community. Really, our options were either lower our mill levy for a longer period of time, or get rid of not mill levy, lower our sales tax for a longer period of time, or abate the sales tax for a shorter period of time and target it to where it will provide the most benefit to the people who live in our community. That's what this ordinance does. It targets it to the off season, to where less of those dollars would be targeted to tourists, and hopefully to provide a benefit to our business community in the holiday season.
One more thing I'd like to add is that your question that you brought up, why can't we give it to the softball complex? That was the first question I asked when I found out that we had been overcharged, or we had not used it inappropriately. And I think several council members did the same. And so we were thinking the same way you were. However, when we got with the Tabor attorney, he goes, oh, no, you cannot do that. And that's why it wasn't done. It's not because we didn't want to, it's because we couldn't.
And then there was a mention of groceries. Do we tax groceries?
You know what? That's a little more involved question that I'd like to call upon Randy Bailey to answer that.
All right, our finance director. Thank you,
Our
Randy.
finance director.
It's a bit of a mixed question. So we basically tax tangible goods. That doesn't necessarily translate to all grocery items. And so I would actually want to, if you wanted a detailed list, I would actually want to go back and parse out through our code and make sure I'm answering it in a very, very clear and precise way so that I don't misspeak.
I guess I would say anyone, like any business who is curious how this will affect them, do they go to you, or who do they contact?
Absolutely. Give me a call. Sarah Coffey as well. Both of our numbers are listed on the website. We're happy to answer any questions. And we will also be engaging a lot of the business community, et cetera, on instruction sets and the mechanics of how this is all going to work. As you can imagine, this is a pretty complicated process with the systems and the state systems, et cetera. We're currently working through that with the eye of making it as simplistic as possible in the business community, and we will, as soon as we can nail down every specific step of those mechanics, we will start the essentially the communication campaign with the idea that we want to over-communicate completely so that everybody completely understands, because it was hard enough to shift when we lowered the tax rate, and that's just a one-time change. If you think about it, we're going to make two major changes in the fourth quarter, and so we want to articulate that and choreograph that to the best of our ability.
I think one thing that you need to keep in mind is that if the business is currently charging city sales tax on any product, that sales tax will not be charged come October 18th. And if a consumer is currently paying city sales tax on any products that they purchase, the sales tax will not apply to that purchase come October 18th. So, you know.
Oh, a portion, because you're making it sound like there's going to be no city
Well, it's the
sales tax.
city sales tax. So the city sales tax will disappear
Oh,
for
completely.
75 days.
Okay.
But if you're currently paying city sales tax on any items, then that city sales tax will not be charged come October 18th. But certainly we can come up with a detailed list as part of the advertising and promotion of this holiday.
Madam Mayor, I would just like to say that this has been an unfortunate situation that this council has caught, but I really want to put a positive reinforcement out to the city staff who first of all identified it. Thank you very much for identifying it. It went for a while and wasn't identified. And I believe that the city staff came up with a really amazing series of thoughts in order to rectify it in a very creative way that will help our community by giving this sales tax break during the holiday season. And I just feel that we've made the best of a bad situation, and I want to thank you all for working very hard, because I think you really came up with some amazing ideas that were outside of the box, and we're making the best of this bag of lemons.
I'd just like to add, this comes at a terrible time because our Parks and Rec department is really underfunded. We have a lot of deferred maintenance. But looking at this is the right thing to do, to give the money back. It's not only the right thing to do, it's the only thing to do. And if we have no other discussion by council members, I move that council approve on second and final reading ordinance 1359 series 2026, an ordinance amending section 9-26 of chapter 9, article 2, division 3 of the Cortez City Code by enacting subsection C in order to effect a Tabor refund of a portion of the Family Recreation Center sales tax revenue that was collected by the city in 2022 through 2025.
Second.
Motion made by Lewis and seconded by DeHaven.
Randall,
Yes.
Dobry,
Yes.
DeHaven,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Sproul,
Yes.
Kiefhoffer,
Yes.
Medina.
Yes. Okay, we're going to move on to 5B on our agenda, ordinance number 1356, series 2026. Council will take into consideration on second and final reading an ordinance approving a 40-year land lease agreement with the Cortez Real Estate Holding Company LLC for a private hangar development on the Cortez Municipal Airport. Presented by Jeremy Patton, our airport director.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, City Council. So again, we did the first reading on February 10th, 2026. We are just revisiting this as the second reading public hearing of the hangar development for Cortez Real Estate Holding LLC. The owner intends to break ground as soon as, in short time, as soon as this is approved, for a 80 by 70 hangar on North Lot 9. The owner came to us around June 2024, and we went through the wait list, and despite, names ahead of this individual, they were not ready or willing to build in that location at that time. In the last 6 months, CRE, Cortez Real Estate Holdings, has diligently taken the steps necessary to bring us the exhibits and get with this contractor to plan to build this hangar. This is the last available spot on the north row of hangars. We've got a drainage ditch and then a pretty big gap in development on that north end of the property. So including you know, the hangar itself and factoring in building separation and street side access and as well as air side, the total area comes to about 9,500 square feet. The building itself, 5,600 square feet. The fiscal impact to the airport, our current rate of 45 cents per square foot per year of land lease was not increased this year due to reducing inflation rates over the average CPI. So we will maintain that 45 cents per square foot, which means that from March to December of this year, the airport will bring in about $3,206 and 25 cents of revenue, and then for 27 and beyond, $4,275 per year, barring any adjustments with CPI. So with that, staff recommends that council approve on second reading ordinance 1356 series 2026, an ordinance approving a 40-year land lease agreement between the city of Cortez and Cortez Real Estate Holdings LLC for the purpose of hangar construction at hangar lot 9. And and that would be the second reading and final. If agreed upon, oh, sorry, that's you guys. Got a little ahead of myself. Any questions on that? Or since the last meeting we had?
Do we have the applicant here?
Yes, he is in the audience.
Okay.
Yep.
Would they be interested in speaking?
Would you like to speak about anything?
You don't have to. Okay. Okay. All right, I think we said this last time. We just love to see continued movement and development at the airport. So thanks for all your hard work, and thank you for your interest. And
Yep. No worries.
oh yeah, public portion hearing. Okay, do we have, I'll open this for public comment. Do we have anyone from the audience who'd like to comment? Okay, we'll close the public hearing portion.
Madam Mayor, I move that City Council approve on second and final reading ordinance number 1356, Series 2026, an ordinance approving a 40-year land lease agreement between the City of Cortez and Cortez Real Estate Holding Company, LLC, for the purpose of hangar construction on hangar lot N9.
Second.
Motion made by Randall and seconded by Sproul.
Dobry,
Yes.
Randall,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Brule,
Yes.
Kiefhoffer,
Yes.
DeHaven,
Yes.
Medina.
Yes.
Thank you, council.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Yep.
All right, we're moving on to 5C on our agenda, Resolution Number 5, Series 2026. This is a public hearing on an application for a conditional use permit for a religious land use and an application for a special exemption or minor deviation for off-street parking requirements at property located at 28 East Montezuma Street, zoned residential single-family R1, presented by Jason Armstrong, our interim director of community and economic development /
Yes, good evening, Council, Madam Mayor. Tonight, we bring before you an application for a conditional use permit for religious land use and special exception minor deviation.
Hey, it's a little hard to hear you. I don't know.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, this. All right. Yeah, I'll get down lower here.
Use the taller one.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, so we're bringing a conditional use permit for religious land use and special exception minor deviation for off-street parking requirements for property located at 28 East Montezuma Street, zone single family R1. Just a little bit of background. I wanted you guys to take a look at the map here. So the Catholic Church came to us several months ago, and they were interested in consolidating 28 East Montezuma and 40 East Montezuma into a single lot. They are in the process right now of working through building permits. They've already demolished the building at 40 East Montezuma there. And they wanted to eliminate that lot line to make it easier to rebuild a structure. They have completed the lot consolidation process through our normal administrative decision-making. That final plat has not been recorded yet. So a couple of things background-wise on this. one of the major issues that we found when we were looking at a conditional use permit, and I will say that the applicant was not aware that they needed a conditional use permit in place, and so the city staff at that time pointed out that that was something that would be good to get in place just to kind of clean up the permitting process and allow us more flexibility to be able to approve those building permits. And so we started walking down that path with them. One of the main areas that we had concerns with were the off-street parking requirements. The way that you determine off-street parking requirements for religious land use is by the maximum occupancy load. And so we went over, the building inspector and I went over and we did a fire inspection, and we determined what the maximum load is for all of the structures that are currently there. And then we also took into account the structure that they're proposing, put all that together, and the total required off-street parking spaces is 125. Now, that would be in an instance where all of the buildings were simultaneously at maximum load, which is pretty unlikely. Right now, the applicant went out and they did an assessment of their current parking, which is kind of in the rear there. They have 20 spaces available for parking, and a couple of those are also ADA. So they are lacking in the number of required off-street parking. This church has been in operation since the 1900s. And over time, the offerings have grown. And I think that the local streets have demonstrated a capacity to be able to handle the parking for special events when it is most heavy. So that is why we're asking for the special exception minor deviation, is for that requirement. The applicant is here tonight if you guys end up having any questions specific for them. But your alternatives tonight, council can approve the conditional use permit. You could recommend denial of the permit and state your reasons why. You could ask for more information and reschedule the public hearing for a date certain. Or you could approve Resolution 5, Series 2026, a resolution approving the conditional use permit with conditions, and state any conditions you feel would be necessary to ensure compliance with the land use code. And staff recommends option 4, which is approval of the resolution. And with that, I will open it up for questions.
Are you aware of any complaints from the neighbors about parking on the street?
We've not received any complaints about that.
If the applicant's here, do they want to speak, or you don't have to? Okay. Okay, we'll open the public hearing portion of this. Do we have anyone from the audience who'd like to make a comment on this? Okay, we'll close the public hearing portion. I feel like it makes sense to exempt it. This has been a long-standing church, and that's a busy street. There's plenty of off-street parking, or on-street parking.
Yeah.
Jason, this was unanimously approved by P&Z?
Yes, sir. I should have included that. Planning and zoning looked at it this month, and they unanimously approved it.
Thank you. Madam Mayor, I move that City Council approve Resolution Number 5, Series 2026, a resolution approving the conditional use permit and special exemption for religious use on property located at 28 East Montezuma Street, Zone Single Family 1, R-1 through City Council Resolution Number 5, Series 2026, with the condition as stated in the resolution.
Second.
Motion made by Lewis and seconded by DeHaven.
Randall.
Yes.
Kiefhoffer.
Yes.
Dobry.
Yes.
Spruill.
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
DeHaven.
Yes.
Medina.
Yes. Okay. That's it for public hearing. Now we'll move on to 6 on our agenda, unfinished business. We have none. So number 7 is new business. 7A, resolution number 7, series 2026, a resolution amending resolution 2, series 2026, presented by Jason Armstrong.
Yeah. A bit of a cleanup here. So a little bit of background on this resolution. On January 13th, City Council approved Resolution 2, Series 2026, which was a resolution supporting a certified local government grant application to History Colorado for surveying potentially historic properties in the city. In that resolution, we included incorrect information on the subject of the grant application. As stated in the memo from January 13th, the actual project for 2026 CLG grant is to inventory 8 commercial properties and 4 schools in the city of Cortez. So in an effort to correct the record, staff is requesting that City Council approve Resolution 7, Series 2026, amending Resolution 2, Series 2026 to make that change. And that is our recommendation, is to approve Resolution number 7, Series 2026, amending Resolution 2, Series 2026.
And that didn't affect the grant, hopefully, just like the record of what we were.
Yeah, the grant got submitted correctly. It was just a staff error in the ordinance. Yeah.
If there aren't any questions, I think it's a pretty simple correction. I move that City Council approve Resolution number 7, Series 2026, a resolution amending Resolution 2, 6.
Second.
Motion made by Dobry and seconded by Kiefhoffer.
DeHaven.
Yes.
Dobry.
Yes.
Kiefhoffer.
Yes.
Randall.
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
Spruill.
Yes.
Medina.
Yes. Okay, we're moving on to 7B on our agenda, ordinance number 1357, series 2026. Council will consider on first reading ordinance number 1357, an ordinance amending ordinance number 1354, series 2026. Presented by Jason Armstrong, interim community and economic development director.
Okay, similar situation. We made an error. On January 27th, 2026, the City Council adopted ordinance number 1354, Series 2026, approving the buildings located at 245 East Montezuma Avenue for historic designation and including in the property the Register of Historic Resources. The legal description of the property listed in that ordinance was incorrect, and we need to change that for the record. So that is the main impetus for this ordinance. And so we've made that correction in the ordinance, and so we're recommending that council approve on first reading ordinance number 1357, Series 2026, amending ordinance 1354, Series 2026.
Will we have to do a second reading for this then?
Yes.
Thank you. Unless anybody has any questions, I'll make a motion. I move that City Council approve on first reading ordinance number 1357, Series 2026, amending ordinance number 1354, Series 2026, and set for second reading and a public hearing on March 10th, 2026.
Second.
Motion made by Dobry and seconded by DeHaven.
Spruill.
Yes.
Kiefhoffer.
Yes.
DeHaven.
Yes.
Dobry.
Yes.
Randall.
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
Medina.
Yes. Okay, we're on 7C on our agenda now, ordinance number 1358, Series 2026. Council will consider on first reading ordinance number 1358, Series 2026, an ordinance amending ordinance number 1355, Series 2026, presented by Jason Armstrong.
Okay, last one tonight, guys. Again, staff apologizes for having to bring this before you again. So, very similar situation on January 27th. City Council adopted ordinance 1355, Series 2026, approving the buildings located at 410 East Empire Street for historic designation and including the property in the City Register of Historic Resources. In that ordinance, we incorrectly listed the legal description. We've made that adjustment, and that is in your new ordinance. And so staff recommends City Council approve on first reading ordinance number 1358, Series 20, amending ordinance 1355, Series 2026.
Again, if there are no questions, I think this is a simple correction. I move that council approve on first reading ordinance number 1358, Series 2026, amending ordinance number 1355, Series 2026, and set for second reading and public hearing on March 10th, 2026.
Second.
Motion made by Dobry and seconded by Kefauver.
Spruill,
Yes.
Kefauver,
Yes.
Dobry,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
DeHaven, Randall, Medina.
Yes. Okay, we're moving on to 7D on our agenda, ordinance number 1360, Series 2026. Council will consider on first reading an ordinance amending the 2026 adopted budget, presented by Randy Bailey, our finance director.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and Council. As you mentioned, before you is Ordinance 1360, Series 2026, an ordinance to amend the 2026 adopted budget. Basically, there's about a handful of items that we're looking at here. This slide will come up here in just a minute. It's really, it boils down to a couple of grants, some unanticipated revenue, and some unused surplus expenditures from 2025 that were not used. I apologize for that. So what we have, starting at the top with the general fund, is we have a grant from the Laura Foundation, which will purchase STEM technology for the library. We have a grant that will support the Fast Track Affordable Housing Program, and that's going to support both the housing coordinator and an AI pilot in that space. So again, those are recent grant awards that happened after budget, so we're coming in to appropriate those dollars. There's also a donation from Empire Electric for general library programming, and we definitely want to thank Empire Electric for their support in that space. There's also an item that was a bit of a miscommunication, maybe. During budget, we had some constraints that we needed to make, and there was a position that that I personally thought was vacant. It didn't get corrected, and it was actually a filled position. So we were stuck with an onboarded FTE that we didn't actually budget for. In partnership with our Parks and Rec director, what we found was there's some price increases and things like that going in, and so we revised revenue forecasts, so we were able to partially offset that to the tune of, of about $38,000, which left a balance of $46,000 that we will need reserves to fund this position. Now, I also want to go on the record to state that in my memo, I netted this on the financial impact, and I only included the $46,000. It is correct in the ordinance. The full amount of expenditure appropriation that we're looking for is $84,000, and by next reading, I will absolutely correct that in my memo so that it ties to the ordinance. So I apologize for that netting of those two numbers. So that wraps up the general fund and what we're asking for as part of this round for the general fund. The airport, we were awarded an EPA Brownsfield program for asbestos abatement in the airport, I believe in late 24, early 25. Those dollars have not been appropriated yet, and we are now ready to execute on that program in 2026, so we want to appropriate those dollars for this year. On the equipment fund, we had a little bit of upside in revenue for FY25, and so what we're looking to do is leverage that to complete the prioritized equipment list that we identified in budget, and make sure that that equipment list is fully funded. Then in the water program and the streets program, Number one, the water program, we have the grant and the match for the distribution network master plan. That project did not complete in 2025, and so we want to make sure that we're appropriating those dollars in 2026 to finish that program and finish that plan, and so that's what that line item is all about. In FY25, we had some unused project budget in the streets program, and you see that in the 4 column there, we want to complete repairs on 2nd, Pine, Oak, and 7th Street. With the airport project last year, we had an asphalt shortage. We couldn't complete those projects, and so therefore we had unused expenditures from 2025. We're looking to reappropriate those for FY26 and finish those projects. And then on the Montezuma-Sligo drainage project, we completed phase 1 in 2025, but did not complete phase 2, and again, want to just reappropriate those dollars for 2026. So that is the totality of what we're asking for at this time. Happy to answer any questions.
I guess so you're saying that we need to increase our expenditures or like our budget, what we plan to spend by, almost 700,000. But most of this money is either grants or money from last year. And then obviously a missed employment.
That's exactly right. The net impact to FY26 reserves is the $46,000.
Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for the clear breakout of all the grants and all the required supplemental appropriation. Thank you.
And then this is just first reading. There will be a second reading with a public hearing.
I move that the City Council approve on first reading ordinance number 1360, Series 2026, and ordinance amending the 2026 budget as stated in the ordinance and set for second reading and a public hearing on March 10th, 2026.
Second.
Motion made by DeHaven and seconded by Dobry.
Randall? DeHaven?
Yes.
Kiefhoffer?
Yes.
Dobry?
Yes.
Lewis?
Yes.
Sproul?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes. Thank you, Randy. All right, we're going to move on to 7E on our agenda, an intergovernmental agreement with the town of Dolores for waste and recycling services. So council will consider authorizing the mayor to sign on behalf of the city of Cortez an intergovernmental agreement with the town of Dolores for waste and recycling services, presented by Casey Simpson, our interim director of public works.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Probably keep it a little short tonight because I'm losing my voice. We presented at the last meeting about the background of this project. To review, it's after identifying a service gap in their community, the Dolores Town Board contacted the City of Cortez to discuss waste and recycling services. An IGA has been drafted for the city to provide waste and recycling services to the town of Dolores with an attached Exhibit A that outlines the descriptions of services, schedules, routes, container types, and service levels. The Dolores Town Mayor and Town Clerk have signed the agreement. The purpose of the intergovernmental agreement is to establish a cooperative approach to waste collection, recycling, hauling, disposal, and related services between the parties. The collaboration aims to improve efficiency, enhance services for residents, reduce costs, and support environmental stewardship in the southwest rural Colorado in accordance with state goals. The city will provide the following services to the town under this IGA: curbside trash collection, free curbside recycling for all trash collection customers in accordance with state goals, backhaul and backcharge services for hard to dispose of items, including mattresses, upholstered furniture, and e-waste, access to cleanup and construction dumpsters at additional costs subject to availability, and a detailed description of this is also included in Exhibit A. There are some minimal initial startup impacts under fiscal impacts. Cortez will handle route development, container provision, and the service operations. Household fees will start at approximately $31.75 per month, with a potential slight increase based on Cortez's 2026 rate schedule, approximately $2 higher than Cortez's standard residential rate to cover administrative costs. In year one, we expect to cover all of the direct startup expenses. And it has been detailed in both this memo and additional memos. I can answer questions related to that if you'd like. We believe the IGA both offers us a structure to set up services and a long-term or a path to stabilize those services should it prove to be a desired and a effective service. And it also leaves the city with the opportunity to end the agreement should it not prove to be a desired or effective program. At this time, staff recommends that council approve the intergovernmental agreement and authorize the mayor to sign the IGA on behalf of the city with the town of Dolores for waste and recycling services. And I'm open to questions.
How many residents do you expect to use this? I think I heard the word 100. Is that correct?
100 was the benchmark we were seeking to initiate. I believe rough estimates 500 households. So the startup would be 100. I think that our refuse and recycling division provides top quality service and wouldn't be surprised if we take on many more than that initial 100.
How many residents do we have to sustain this project?
What was the break-even number? 37? Or?
Yeah, there we go. So your break-even is going to be right at 62 residents, and then anything over 62 is where you're going to show profit.
Thanks.
I just want to say that you gave such a thorough presentation 2 weeks ago that really allayed many of my fears about this at all. I think it's really great and win-win for both communities. I don't know if there are any other questions, but yeah.
I guess I want to see if there's any, open this for public comment and see if there's anyone from the public who wants to comment on this topic. Okay, just want to give that opportunity. Thank you.
You know, I would just like to add to that. I appreciate the financial impact and plan that was sent out later. That was very valuable. Thank you.
Sorry. I'd like to make a motion that council approve the IGA between the city and the of Cortez and the town of Dolores for waste and recycling services and authorize the mayor to sign the IGA on behalf of the city of Cortez.
Second.
Motion made by Kiefhofer and seconded by Lewis.
DeHaven? Yes. Lewis?
Yes.
Randall?
Yes.
Spruill?
Yes.
Kiefhofer?
Yes.
Dobry?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes. All right, that's the end of our new business. So we're going to move on to 8 on our agenda, draft resolutions and ordinances. We have none tonight. So 9 is the city attorney report.
No report, Madam Mayor.
Great. All right, number 10 on our agenda is the city manager report.
Yes, Mayor and Council, I have 3 items for you this evening. First of all, I was able to attend the Colorado Municipal League, or CML, legislative workshop in Denver last week, Thursday and Friday. It was a good opportunity to get spun up on what's happening in our legislature, and I believe I already shared my notes from both the legislative workshop and the policy committee meeting with the council. Next, the first community outreach session for the four Cortez charter ballot questions will take place this Thursday, which is February 26th, at the Cortez Chamber of Commerce at 20 West Main Street. That is at noon. This will be an informational meeting for anyone who has questions regarding the charter amendments. And then lastly, interviews for the Cortez Airport Director position are slated for Friday, March 6th. A community meet and greet is scheduled for Thursday, March 5th in this room from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. Pending any questions from council, that concludes my report.
Thank you.
City manager, are all of the informational meetings going to be held at the Chamber of Commerce?
No, not necessarily. We haven't established the venues for the other two yet, but that's the initial one. We're trying to, as best we can, get out there to folks. We may use the library and the annex. We're not sure on that, but we're trying to do our best to get out to people versus making them come here.
Okay, we'll move on to number 11 on our agenda, the City Council Committee Report. 11A is the mayor's report on our workshop, and we used our workshop to do an executive session for our annual review of our city attorney. So B is other board reports. So we'll start with Councilmember Kiefhofer. Okay. I don't have one either. All right, Bill.
The Golf Advisory Committee met on Friday, February 20th at 9 a.m. We finalized the golf area survey, and I believe that's been sent out to individuals, and that'll give us some good information on ways we can make improvements. We also reviewed the committee annual plan, and then we discussed opening dates. The driving range will be open on February 28th, and opening date for the golf course will be March 6th. All those dates are weather permitting.
Great, thank you. All right, we'll move on to number 12 on our agenda, our second portion of public hearing or public participation. So individuals may not comment on items on the agenda. No limit to the number of speakers, no overall time limit, but each speaker has 3 minutes per person. Anyone from the audience who wants to provide public comment on anything? Okay, then we'll move on. 13 is other items of business. We have none, so 14 is adjournment. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Madam Mayor, I move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made by Lewis and seconded by Dobry.
DeHaven?
Yes.
Kiefhofer?
Yes.
Lewis?
Yes.
Rule?
Yes.
Dobry?
Yes.
Randall?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes. Thank you all. Good night.